Each week when Supernatural's done, make sure you know what went on. Listen to Heather and Eric, get the salt nose for sure.
What do you think of our new intro?
I think that it is very cheesy and awesome.
Yeah, I thought. Hold on 1 second. I gotta get the mic closer to my mouth. It was too far away.
That's what she said.
Well, welcome to Get the Salt podcast. This is episode 4.
4. Yes.
And we apologize. This one's running a little late. You probably don't know that because we haven't officially launched this yet, or I don't know how it's working, but we are actually recording on a Monday.
Yes.
Normally we record on Thursdays, but we ran into some issues here at work. You were busy on Thursday. I was busy on Friday. We completely forgot about the episode today. I don't even know what we're talking about.
We are talking about season 11, episode 12, Don't You Forget About Me.
What was great about this episode is I know we talked about this previously. You specifically mentioned this about women in Supernatural, how they typically get killed off.
Yeah.
Spoiler, if you haven't watched the episode, they don't die.
I know. And I really thought for a second, I thought Jodie was a goner at one point when her leg snapped and she's down there. I really thought they were going to kill her off because I didn't see how we were going to make it through with 3 women in there who have all been in previous episodes.
But she took a pretty good ass whooping.
Yeah, she did. But she survived.
I know
she's a fighter.
We were watching it. I was rewatching it in your office on Thursday, and we saw when the vampire hit her, he rocked her.
Oh yeah.
And we were both like, "Ooh, that one must have hurt."
That must have smart.
That almost reminds me of the time when Dean took a beating by Lucifer when they were in the battle where Dean or Sam was trying to get rid of his, he was going to go into hell to save the world.
Yeah.
And Dean took that ass whooping. That's what I felt like. She was taking that kind of ass, like that mean.
That seems like such a, honestly, at this point, that ass whooping from back in season 4 or 5, that seems kind of tame now.
Yeah, I guess so.
I'm just like, whatever, Lucifer, no big deal.
So starting off the episode, which is one thing where you never, now, when you live in these days that we're in now, you never go anywhere alone, typically. You don't want to go in the woods by yourself. You don't want to go to the 7-Eleven late at night by yourself. You always want to be with somebody. So in the beginning of the scene where the couple's alone in the car in the middle of the woods, in the middle of nowhere, I would never be caught there dead.
Do kids have makeout spots nowadays? Like, is that still a thing?
No, I don't think so.
I don't remember makeout spots.
Well, mine actually, I'll tell you, my spot growing up. My spot growing up was in the back of the movie theater. There was a big old empty parking lot, and it was really dark in the back. That's where I would go. That was my spot. Because you go.
How romantic.
Well, you go and watch a movie, and of course we had to talk about the movie, so we want to make sure we weren't interrupted. So we go way back into the parking lot, and that's where you do your discussions and whatever else you were into.
"Quote unquote" discussion.
We talk about the movie, what we thought about it, but that was my spot.
Oh God.
Anyway, so we go back into the episode, and it's Cass's daughter again.
Claire Novak.
Claire pops up, and she's threatening this guy. I thought she was going to chop his head off for a second there.
I didn't think she was crazy. I really thought, because she's holding a sword to his throat, and you see for the longest time, she's like, tell him what you are, that this is clearly a vampire or a werewolf or a demon of some kind. And the guy's just sitting there, I don't know what you're talking about. I really thought he was going to turn into something. Turns out Claire's gone a little round the bend.
Well, if you've seen as much stuff as she has and gone through what she's had, she lost both of her parents. Her dad, the body of her dad's being possessed by an angel. She's been
possessed by an angel, being possessed by the devil.
Now, exactly.
She doesn't know that part yet, but I'm sure we'll get there.
You would be a little crazy too, man. That's pretty horrific for a little girl to go through. I mean, how old is she now?
She's got to be around, she's just starting college. She's got to be around 19.
Okay, you're right. Oh, maybe 17-ish, because you start college around 17.
Well, but she had time as a runaway, and she had all this drama going on when she was, when her dad was
No, actually,
killed by an
no, you're
angel,
right.
like-
It actually was in college because she had gotten kicked off and she was asking a dean or something to be let back into school because she flunked out of school or something like that. That's why they were going to, when they got jumped by the vampire, they were actually going to go speak to that person to see if she could get back into school.
Yeah, well, because she wasn't showing up to class, is
Right,
what Jody
right.
said. Yeah, so she's actually in college, theoretically, but she might be. I feel like she might have started a little late, gotten a little behind on her high school time.
Well, one thing that I can say I'm not a foodie. I'm more a fatty. I don't know if there's a difference. I do enjoy food, but not at the level of a foodie. The Elvis burger. That thing looked awesome. I've never seen that before.
You've never seen that before?
No.
Have you not? Okay, look, we've got some fairs around here in this part of the woods, and let me tell you, I have seen these burgers, and I can tell you how many calories are in that thing.
Well, I mean,
Do you know?
I can. A donut maybe has what, 500 calories?
Mm-hmm.
5,000 burger. I would say 3,000 calories. Am I off?
You're off. It's actually a lot less. You're fine then.
Oh,
Go ahead and eat
jeez.
them. A burger similar to the Elvis would be around 2,000, 2,100 calories.
Like my McGriddles. Sponsored by McDonald's.
Please sponsor us. You know what? You don't even have to give us money to sponsor us. Just send us free McGriddles.
Yeah, exactly. I would love some McGriddles. Actually, I had a McGriddle this morning. As a matter of fact, sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddle. So
anyway,
Claire's trying to hunt. She's going crazy around her neighborhood trying to find what she thinks is, at this point, hasn't been 100% justified for her to be hunting, but there hasn't been anything really that she's found or actual evidence. But she thinks that there's a big, some supernatural events that are going on that she can't explain.
There are kids missing, and she feels that it's a case. It's not just runaways or anything normal.
Which I thought she was wrong. I thought she was going to go crazy. She's just kind of hunting to hunt, or just. I felt she didn't have.
She's the girl that cried werewolf.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought she was off her rocker a little bit, but then later on in the episode, we are wrong, or I am wrong. I'm sure everybody else thought the same thing, or thought that she was right and that she had a case. But I felt like she was just kind of like reaching a little bit, or maybe seeking attention, or.
I don't know. I feel like the case itself was kind of incidental in this episode. I mean, yes, it ends up, with connections to the past of, Alex, the other girl in the episode. But I really felt like the case was incidental. I think the whole point of this episode was the family connections. And if you look, Claire calls Sam and Dean to come in and help her investigate. And you see them sitting around the table with Alex, who went to live with Jody Mills back in season 9 after she was
A blood bag.
Right, and kind of helping to get victims for her vampire family, kept a vamp nest alive for a couple of years. And then you've got Claire, who actually just joined them less than a year ago. She was sent to Jody. But you've got this whole family sitting around there, and then you've got Sam and Dean. And what Claire and Alex are what Sam and Dean would have been had Mary lived and John died.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, no, for sure.
The parallels are there.
One of the lines that I liked that they said was that that Claire was trying to hunt to hide in it.
Mm-hmm.
That she just was using that to not express her feelings or get attached to anybody else or become that family.
Yeah.
Almost as an excuse that I'm busy hunting. I can't be a part of your little clique that you have going on.
She's very Dean in that throwing herself into it to overcome the tragedy and to kind of just keep going hunting after the monsters. And you have Alex, who is pretending to be normal and act like none of that ever existed. And she's going off to college and having the boyfriend and doing all the school activities and prom queen and things like that. She's trying to pretend like none of it exists and distance herself from that part of the family, much like Sam was when we met him 11 years ago.
What about the sex talk at the table?
Oh, the awkward,
it was
awkward
so
sex
awkward.
talk.
It's one of the rare times when Sam and Dean are actually involved in a regular conversation that you would have at a table.
Not
at a table. I don't know if you'd have that conversation at a table, but
I don't know. I think a lot of those conversations end up happening around the dinner table awkwardly. But it was interesting to see Sam and Dean being looked to for help as if they were adults. Because we're so used to, Bobby being their dad, or Cass even seems more of a father figure type thing, or at least on their same level. We've never seen them be the mature ones in a situation. And Jody kept looking to them for help.
But I mean, they're the last guys who don't ask advice about not having sex. I mean, Dean's the biggest womanizer there is, right?
But have they ever accidentally knocked somebody up? Or gotten some kind of weird diseases?
I hope to believe they practice safe sex.
I feel like they're good. You know?
Yeah. Little Dean's running around. Well, at one point, Dean thought that kid was his kid.
He did.
In that one episode.
That Lisa's kid was his kid. He did.
Which he seemed very similar. That was like,
I know, right?
I was like, uh-oh. He has to father down now.
But as long as everyone wears a condom, we'll be fine.
So the entire episode, you're thinking that Claire's crazy, and then the guy gets rung up on the flagpole.
Okay, that teacher, I forget what his name was, but he was one of Alex's teachers, math or something or other. As he walked by her in the very opening of that episode, like his eyes just look straight into you, drill into you. Oh, you ready for that quiz? Like, who does that? No, creepy. I'm like, red herring. This guy's evil. This guy's bad.
Well, just like last episode, I started accusing everybody of being evil or wrong, or that's the guy who killed her. That's the person that did this. That's the person
I'm always
that did that.
ready to accuse people, much like Claire.
No, just like you said, I seen the guy. He comes in and said, "What did he say? Are you ready for that?"
Yeah, he was talking something about, are you ready for the math exam? And like, oh, well, good thing you've got 18 hours left to study.
But he had
Shut up.
Yeah, he had that creepy stare. Like, oh my god, that guy's totally something wrong with him. Just turned out he was a creep, and that's all.
It turns out he's just a creep, and now he's dead.
So he gets rung up.
Sorry about that.
And talk about, like, that's the way to make a statement. You hang the guy up by his foot.
But yeah, hanging from the
flagpole,
which we'll find out. The leader vampire did not appreciate that attention being brought to it.
Yeah, no, the guy was trying to keep it under wraps, and you find out later his whole story, which I didn't see that one coming either. That was it wasn't a monster of a week. It actually tied back to when I believe her name was Alex.
Yeah,
was,
Alex.
Bringing people in for the nest to eat.
Mm-hmm.
So you find that backstory, which is really cool. I like that. That was a cool idea.
And the other Alex episode, because we've only seen Alex in one other episode in season 9, in the episode Alex Annie at Lexus Ann. That was directed by the same guy, Stefan Plazinski. I can't pronounce his name at all. But what I thought was really interesting is you could see the similarities in the directing with the shaky cam every time he was focusing on like Alex and her boyfriend, and from the episodes previously. I was getting a little tired of the shaky cam. So please, Stefan Stevens got another episode coming up this season. Lay off the shaky cam for me.
Were you getting seasick?
I was getting a little seasick. I was getting a little annoyed by it.
I'm going to open my Red Bull. I'm sorry. Hold on. There you go. I need them thirsty.
Energy.
So yeah. So
sponsored by Red Bull. Please send us a case of Red Bull.
And that boyfriend was too nice. I was like, wow, he is such a nice dude. There's something wrong with him.
Well, yeah, there are no nice guys who are also popular.
No, she was like,
sorry.
I've done a lot of bad. Don't tell me about your bad stuff. I'm fine with that. That's in the past. No, I want to know your bad stuff. What did you do?
Maybe you're just bad. Maybe he was good. No, he wasn't.
No, well, I mean, when it turns out that the janitor is the actual vampire, I was like, man, I was wrong again. I can't believe I'm totally like losing my mojo here.
Double whammy though, because the janitor is the evil guy from Alexis's town, or Alex's town, who she had lured him into her family so that her family could vamp him.
Yeah, that was a cool story. Where how did he survive? I guess he was turned, but you have to drink the blood in Supernatural. You have to drink the blood of the vampire in order to become a vampire.
Right, because if you'll remember, Claire almost became a vampire at one point, but then she hadn't had enough blood and it hadn't been long enough, so there was a cure. And I don't really understand how that all works, but apparently you can become a vampire and then be okay. Yeah,
when Sam was actually becoming a vampire Dean. Sam had set up when Sam had lost his soul. Sam set up Dean to get attacked by a vampire in order to get to the leader of the vampires, like the main guy. And if you kill the main guy of a nest of vampires, anybody that he bit and they bit is cured within the time period of actually turning.
Right.
So that's, I guess,
while they're still
the cure.
The process of turning.
Yes. So one thing that I mean, Claire is one of those characters where you love to hate, almost like Joffrey from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, she's kind of obnoxious, but then you go back and I know I defended her a couple episodes ago, saying how much she's been through, and you kind of defended her a little bit earlier. She's obnoxious, but you kind of understand why, but oh my
you understand
God,
what,
you're awful. Shut up.
I'm like, this ungrateful bitch. Just shut the F up. And just do what they're telling you to do. They're just trying to help you out. Don't just do what everybody's trying to do for you. But like we said, you understand why she's acting this way, but she's just such a little bitch.
Well, it's like, what, 7 years ago, she was, a devout Christian good girl with a happy family, with a mother and a father, and they went to church every week, and everybody was on their best behavior, and everybody was doing well and had a nice home and everything. Her life's kind of gone to shit several times.
I actually feel bad comparing. I want to take back what I just said. I compared her to Joffrey from Game of Thrones. I don't hate her nearly as much as I hated that character. That guy, I could not stand.
I always loved Joffrey.
Oh my God. I wanted to choke him. I wanted to go through the TV and just strangle that little weasel.
I know, wasn't he awesome?
So she was like,
rest in peace,
she was
Joffrey.
she was kind of at that same level for me during this episode. She, cleaned up a little bit towards the end of the episode, but that's how I felt about it. She was just like a little ungrateful bitch. But so it turns out that the janitor is the vampire, and then you go into the whole backstory like you were mentioning earlier.
He wants to get revenge on Alex.
But he played the long game.
For ruining. He played the long game, and that's kind of amazing. And I have to wonder how this is going to affect Alex going forward, because as you know, we didn't see Jodie Mills last season. Or when we saw her last season, season 10, we didn't see Alex, but she mentioned Alex and how Alex was getting into trouble, smoking grass under the bleachers and stuff like that. And then again, in this episode, when talking to Dean, Jodie said, oh, she really turned it around this year. She got a popular boyfriend and kind of helped her back into society, or high school society. But all of that was a lie, because this janitor who wanted revenge on Alex came to town and specifically turned the most popular boy in school in order to send him after Alex and to build her up, because it was no fun taking her down if she was already down.
Right. He was trying to mind fuck with her,
So, like, what is that going to do to her when she's like, oh, everything that I had, everything that made me happy and normal was all a lie?
Well, I'll tell you this, because in that episode, you see that she actually stood up for her family. She was willing to pay the ultimate price to go back into the service of a vampire nest. I think what's going to bring her through the entire, what just happened to her is going to be the relationship with her family now.
With her new family, with
her new
Jodie
family.
And Claire, the family that they kind of stitched together from all these wayward sons and daughters.
Claire now sees that Alex is willing to die for her, or willing to sacrifice for her. And I think that's what's going to now connect the two of them. That I believe at the end of the episode, they kind of looked at each other and gave each other a little nod. There was nothing said, but they understand each other now, that they have a mutual respect. And I think they're now, who knows, they might become like dual hunters now. They might help each other out.
Well, Alex did specifically say she's ready for it if it comes to her and she knows that it's out there, but she's going to move on and kind of go away. She does not want to be involved in this life.
Well, I don't believe that she's going to be out at all. I think it might be a temporary thing, but that girl has a lot of hate inside of her.
Yeah.
And yes, this was a plus. This was one of those things where, like, okay, you see her maybe evolving, but I believe she's going to revert back and go back into hunting. She just has this hate inside of her.
Alex isn't the one that hunts.
What? Well,
Alex is the one that's leaving.
No. Yeah. No, I'm
Claire
talking about,
obviously is going to be a hunter the entire time.
Yeah, I'm talking about Claire. But also Alex, I feel, is going to join with Claire and start getting on that life again.
I don't know. I don't know how much more we'll see. We'll see of Alex and Claire. Perhaps. I mean, there was a lot of talk, around the boards. I don't know if it was IGN or Geek Den or somebody, but I saw quite a few people speculating that this should have been the spin-off series that Supernatural wanted. Instead of Bloodlines that we tried to do a couple seasons ago, it should have definitely been Jodie, Claire, and Alex, how they would make a great spin-off. So
boring.
What? Are you kidding me?
Chicks as the lead in a
I'm going
TV
to punch you so fucking hard in the dick right now.
My God.
I'm just going to kick you and I'm going to behead you. What? I'm sorry, badass chicks, is that hard for you?
Yeah, that's really hard for me. I mean, I can understand maybe she's the girlfriend of a really badass guy, but
Shut up. Shut up. You disgust me.
It's going to be that's going to be a 6-season show and done.
Oh yes, God forbid we go 6 seasons, 100 episodes, and end up
6 episodes,
and end up syndicated and making all that money. Yeah, sure.
No, I don't see them. I don't see that as
no.
a
I mean
spin-off.
the showrunners are not putting this out as a spin-off. I'm just saying, if they were still looking for one, this is the best idea that they could have had, because their last go around did not work out well.
Yeah, and I love the fact with Sam and Dean, they almost took like a backseat in this episode to the females. And going back to what we had spoken about earlier, the fact that none of them died was incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. To have, Jodie, who is really skating on thin ice. She's been back. She has been here so many times and come back as such a fan favorite. Like, she's really skating on thin ice at this point. Yes. But I was pleasantly surprised to see them all survive.
They all survived. Now they're going to be all big old happy family. And then Sam and Dean now are going, maybe hopefully next episode we get back to the main story.
I don't think so. I think next week we're looking at our Valentine's Day episode, kind of a Monster of the Week Valentine's Day edition.
Why is this dragging on so long? Please get back to the story.
That's what they do. But they will be in episode 14, which is the one after next week's Valentine's Day episode. They're definitely getting back to Crowley and Lucille.
Lucille, that's the one he prefers. I think you.
That's the one, Misha Collins, because we had that discussion about whether we preferred Cassifer or Lucille, and we were like Cassifer. Somebody asked Misha Collins on Twitter what he preferred, and he picked Lucille. So I guess that's what we're going with.
Yeah, that's what we're going with. He prefers it, so you gotta go with it. So the one thing I wanted to talk about, the last piece was we're kind of like getting close to the end of the season. How many more episodes do we got to the end of the season?
We've still got at least 10.
At least 10?
At least 10, yeah, because this was, Don't You Forget About Me was the 12th episode of the season. And I don't know for sure how many they're doing, but Supernatural generally has, between 22 and 24 every season. So we're only at the halfway mark.
I always feel like with these filler episodes, I'm like losing like time that they could be using towards the main story. I feel like we're wasting time on the stupid Valentine's Day one that... Well, I say sometimes that it's going to be horrible, but I end up liking them.
Right, like the Imaginary Friend.
The Imaginary Friend was great.
A great episode. And this episode there was no mention of the season arc. It was, at the beginning, have you heard from Cass? Nope, Amara's quiet. Okay, let's move on. Like, that was the entire 2-sentence write-off of what's been going on this season. But this was an episode that deviated from the season arc that I still very much enjoyed.
And they're going to come back, and I think they're going to come back in future episodes. At least Jodie.
Yeah, well, she has to come back to be killed off. I mean,
she always calls them when they're really needed and there's a real problem going on.
Jodie is a fan favorite. She shows up generally once a season since we found her. She was in, last season she was only in one episode. The season before that she was only in one episode. So
I feel like her hair's getting shorter and shorter every time we see her. I think she should have a little crew cut going on.
Nice, high and tight.
Yeah, so that's us. I mean, we have at least maybe next episode we could actually do it on time. Do you think we're gonna be able to do it on time next time?
Who knows?
Well, I mean, that's all I gotta say about this episode today.
I think we're good. Yeah, I think overall it was a great episode. I very much enjoyed, Claire's transition and seeing her work with that. I loved the parallels between Alex and Claire versus Sam and Dean, and you could really see the difference in them with that. And you saw what Sam and Dean are missing out on so much of that family dinner, that awkward family dinner with their, chicken shaped like chicken instead of, patties or nuggets or something.
Yeah, they were tearing into that dinner.
I know that made my heart hurt for them a little bit. So.
Although they do have the Elvis burger to go off of, but they haven't had a home cooked family meal.
They have to have a nice kitchen in that Men of Letters area, right?
But they're not cooking. Come on.
They need to get some lessons. Jodie needs to move into the bunker for a little while, come visit them for a summer, and give them some cooking lessons.
They're microwave guys, fast food, pickup guys. Although Sam is definitely the healthier of the two. He's with his salads and water, where Dean's a burger and beer kind of guy.
It's not going to be, much like Sam said, he's like, oh, I don't want to survive hundreds of demon attacks to go out because of an Elvis burger. That's how Dean's going to go out. Like, let's be serious right now.
It's going to be one of those things. Yeah, he's going to have a heart attack.
He's going to have a heart attack at the age of 32. Like, he's gone.
Yeah, well, I'd like to thank our sponsors, McDonald's and Red Bull.
Can we get in trouble for saying they're sponsors when they're not?
We're loving it.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.